afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the August 21st, 2024 meeting of Chatham's Historic Business District Commission. As soon as we read the Governor's Directive concerning these meetings, we'll do a roll call of the members who are present to assure that we have a quorum, and I can assure you that we do. Tim, would you like to read the Governor's Directive, please?
Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 29, 2023 signing of the Acts of 2023 extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, until March 31st, 2025, this meeting of the Chatham Historic Business District Commission is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that people who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410, conference ID 581-597-232#, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. In accordance with town policy, the public can speak to any issue, hearing, or business item on the agenda during the meeting when recognized by the chair.
Thank you, Tim. All right, now for the roll call. Darcy Sequin, Vice Chair.
Darcy Sequin is here.
Okay, Sam Strybert, our clerk, is not here. Doug Gradden, regular member, is not here. Tim Gilmore, alternate, is here. Tim?
Present.
Okay. And our regular member, Bob Burns?
Bob Burns here.
And Chair Dan Silver is here. All right, so we do have a quorum. Now, the first order of business will be the minutes, and as soon as those are approved, we'll move on to the agendas. And when Tim reads your application, we ask that you move to one of the podiums on our right, introduce yourself, and give us a brief synopsis of your proposed project. All right, are there any questions about the minute or changes you'd like to make to the minutes of August 7th? Anybody? No?
Make a motion that we accept the minutes of August 7th.
Bob Burns, second.
Motion's made and seconded.
Tim Gilmore approves.
Bob Burns approves.
Darcy Sequin approves.
And Dan Silver approves as well. All right, now, as I said, we'll move right on to the first application. Tim?
Under demolition, new construction, 24-103, Jean and Sumner Harding Trust, care of William Litchfield, Esquire, application to demolish the existing structure located at 1620 Main Street.
Very good, and I see the representative is here, Mr. Litchfield.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Bill Litchfield here on behalf of the applicant, Jim Patterson, who was trustee of two trusts created by his late grandparents a number of years ago. We appreciate those of you who were able to come to the site visit last week for having come out to look at the property. And obviously, given its location on Route 28, you're all familiar with it. First, as Sarah knows, and she and I have discussed, and I suspect she's advised you, there is, in theory, a Form B for this house. But in fact, it is for a house at formerly stood at 1588 Main Street, which was torn down. The Harding family, going back in history, owned pretty much all of the land from George Ryder Road over to about Weldon Way, and there was some discrepancy. But this house, that house, was built approximately 1936. The only thing that we have is the Patterson family memory of when his grandfather built the house, and also the assessor's records. The family has gone through some unfortunate events, and I won't go into the details, but the house itself has been vacant for a number of years. The Patterson family had considered coming into you with a sort of pro forma replacement house, a simple cape to be built there, but we don't know if that's ever going to be happening. And it might be something will be built there eventually, and that will be done under your jurisdiction with your approval. But it would have been somewhat disingenuous to put in sort of a placeholder and say that X was going to be built when right now we don't know when X will ever be built or what X will look like. So we will come back. In the interim, the existing structure, as shown there, is not in very good shape whatsoever. And I think it does not qualify as an historic structure, having gone through your guidelines. Obviously, its style is not distinctive. It's not Queen Anne, maybe Queen Jean in deference to your grandmother, but it's not a Georgian, it's not a Federal, it's not a Cape. It is what it is. It has a number of structural deficiencies which make improvements unwarranted. I have with me Bob Stello, Stello Construction, who can, if you'd like, talk about those faults. So we are in essence seeking your permission to demolish the structure built in 1936. We don't have formal landscaping plans. What we do have is a plan to have all of the man-made items, the house, the foundation, and everything else removed. Borthwick and Summers has been retained for that purpose. The area will be loamed and seeded, not as a golf course lawn, but we hope it will end up, for the time being, as a well-manicured field, which is what we propose to do. So that is the essence of what we're proposing. We'd certainly be happy to answer any questions. And again, Rob is here to talk about structural deficiencies if you'd like him to do so.
Okay. Robert?
I wasn't here for the tour of the home. I've read the materials. Is there any other structures? I know there's some firewood. We used to buy some firewood there.
The firewood is going to go away as well.
Okay. So there's nothing in the trucks and,
It will be, as I said, and Jim came up with the phrase, and I complimented him on it, will be a well-manicured field. All of the man-made items and the wood, which isn't strictly man-made, will disappear.
okay, good. That's a good plan. No further questions. Thank you.
Jim?
When I was out at the site, we discussed the two small structures. They appear to be sheds in the back. I'm wondering if there's going to be any landscaping or anything done with those sheds. When you can see that from the road, you'll be able to see right over the field. Wondering what's going to happen with those.
My recollection is that one of those is on another lot. Is that correct? And you have to take the phone, Jim, of the microphone rather, to speak. If I could, Mr. Chairman, Jim Patterson, the trustee of the trust.
Okay. Yes, there's one that's probably splitting the lot lines as it is. There were some sheds that were built up to handle my brother's equipment over the years. It's serendipitous you would ask that question because we were up there this afternoon looking on the backside of them as far as doing some repairs to the paneling that was on the back that has been rotted out. One of the things we have done is we didn't walk around them when we did the site visit the other day, but we've pulled 3 or 4 dump trucks full of debris out of there. We've already cleaned that up. We've already graded much of the property back there. I will put those sheds back in a renovated condition to where they can weather what is left of the equipment up there. And in the indeterminate future, there's a distinct possibility we'll probably just pull those as well.
No further questions.
Darcy?
First of all, I'd like to thank you for meeting us out there. It's always good to see what's going on there. I have no issues with the demolition, as long as perhaps we could condition that it will be seeded and loamed and kept maintained and not see weeds 4 feet high and that kind of thing.
We interestingly enough, Jim's family conveyed some property, 2 lots to the east to the town of Chatham a number of years ago. And for an interim, through no fault of the Harding-Patterson family, it was a mess. It has been cleaned up, and we don't want to see that happen on our property.
Great, thank you.
I have a little concern. How long do you think it's going to be before you come up with a set of plans? Are you saying that they don't know if they're going to build there or not, or are they definitely going to build there eventually?
No, I can't. Again, there's a lot that's happened this past year, in the past 6 months. You know, you can make your plans and life happens. Everything changed here with the death of my brother, so we're trying to sort through that issue. We're trying to clean up the area up there. We're trying to just get things back to a status quo where they're manageable. Everything is up to code, everything is being able to be handled up there, and bring it back to something that is not going to be an eyesore within the area. Are we ever going to build anything up there? I can't say for sure, to be honest with you. I'm not planning to right now. I was, prior to this, I was planning, if nothing else, as a placeholder to maintain the fiscal liability or ability of that property should we have to sell it for whatever reason. I have certain obligations that I don't necessarily want to get into here as the trustee of the property, that I have to maintain some the viability of the property into the future, which is another reason why I want to maintain it. But no, I can't envision putting anything on it right now.
Okay, in life, I want to know that things can change in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And it can be dramatic. The reason I had that concern was because generally we do not, I don't know if I'm repeating myself, we don't allow demolition. Generally, we don't like to approve demolition unless we have a plan of what's going up there.
Yep.
But I didn't know how far off in the future, so apparently you have no plans whatsoever at this point, right?
And if I could, Mr. Chairman, that is why we didn't go the placeholder route. And we recognize that your rules for demolition do have an interest in the appearance or the impact on the historic business district. And we recognize that, but it, as I said, with the sunset clause that's in your regulations, we could have come in with a plan acceptable to you, torn this house down, let the 2 years go by, not build the house. We would have accomplished exactly what we wanted in accordance with all of your rules, and would have had to have come back to you for a certificate of appropriateness for something we did want to build, but that didn't seem, it was dishonest, frankly, to have done that.
Right. So you want to demolish it as soon as possible?
Correct.
Yes. And I can tell you, if the occasion arises where we were to build something up there, it would definitely be with consultation, because it would be something historically appropriate with, to go along with the tone, tenor, and demeanor of what you're trying to develop
Right.
up there.
Right, well,
Because
the
I
only thing
understand the
that,
sensitivities.
the only thing that calms my concerns is that if anything goes up there, it does have to come before us. so-
Absolutely,
So-
absolutely. Hey, and if I could, just as an aside, I mean, as you know, your rules and regulations would ordinarily require review in conjunction with the planning board. But this is a legacy HBDC lot. It's residentially zoned now. And there's no planning board review of single-family residences.
Right.
So we're in sort of an unusual situation.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to take your word that you're gonna turn it into a field too.
Yeah, ideally, if you look across, and what Bill was talking about is my great-grandfather was Captain Nathan Harding, and I would like to do what is the equivalent there right now. If you look, it's a I wouldn't call it a golf course, but we take our dogs over there every night to run around. It's a well-manicured field, it's maintained, it's appropriate, and it just adds to the overall appeal of the area.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. The reason I'm mentioning this is because of Darcy's suggestion. We can condition the demo such that you do plant a field, but unfortunately, we don't have jurisdiction over landscaping, so.
No, and we understand that, but I recognize you have all sorts of applicants who come before you. Mr. Patterson has a rather lengthy history in the town, and I think he will do what he says he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna leave it up to these three, so. All righty, that's the end of my questions. Thank you, Mr. Litchfield.
Thank you.
All right, Darcy,
Do you want me to make a motion?
if, it's up to you. Seems to be your project.
My project, but, okay, I'll make.
Oh, before you do that, is there anybody in the audience that'd like to make a comment? Further comments? No? Okay. Well, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the demolition for 24-103 Jean and Sumner Harding Trust, care of William Litchfield Esquire, application to demolish the existing structure located at 1620 Main Street.
Bob Burns, second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded.
Tim Gilmore approves.
Bob Burns approves.
Darcy Sequin approves.
And Dan Silver abstains. I think I should since I wasn't there at the viewing, or, all right. Very good.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Good to see you, Mr. Litchfield. All right, Tim, where are we?
Under Administrative Approval Exemption 24-104, the Delea Realty Trust care of Bell Island Home Improvement, ratification of certification of administrative approval to replace the roof and partial siding, the upper portion, on the structure located at 43 Cross Street.
Okay, and what little rascals did we have go out there this time?
This was Doug and Darcy. Give me just 1 second. What they were doing is replacing just the upper portion, white cedar shingles, and all of the roof with red cedar shingles.
Whoa. Okay. Good for them.
Had to be done. Had to be done.
All right.
I think is it done? I think isn't it done already?
I think they did it.
They did it.
Yeah, I believe the
Yeah.
building permit was issued and it was done. The ratification is
I went by, it looks nice. I went by it.
just a formal
Bob, you want to make a,
requirement.
I'll make a motion to, well, I don't have that. Which one is it? Administrative approval, I'll make a motion to approve. Wow, you're doing this to me.
it's always good to have you with us, Bob.
Yeah. Administrative approval, 24-104,
Bring
the
it on 'em.
Delia Realty Trust care of Bell Island Home Improvement, ratification of certification of administrative approval to replace the roof and partial siding upper portion on the structure at 43 Cross Street.
Darcy Sequin will second the motion.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. Bob?
Bob Burns approves.
Tim Gilmore approves.
Darcy Sequin approves.
And Dan Silver approves as well. Thank you. All right.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Bob Burns second.
Motion is made and seconded.
Tim Gilmore approves.
Bob Burns approves.
Darcy Sequin approves.
Dan Silver approves as well. Thank you, staff, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. See everybody in 2 weeks, hopefully.